Welcome all. I'm Sarah Roeder, Director of Partnership and Member Engagement with AAFMAA, a nonprofit association focused on providing smart, affordable products and services that help protect the military community since 1879. And today we're talking about assessing where you are and how a mentor can get you to where you want to be after your time in the military. I'm joined today by Leslie Coffey. She's the Vice President of Military Engagement for ACP, American Corporate Partners. She is dedicated to empowering veterans and military spouses through mentorships. And she herself is a graduate of the ACP Mentorship Project. Thank you, Leslie, so much for being here today.
Thanks, Sarah. I'm so excited to be here. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, I know a large topic of discussion in kind of the military ecosystem we both work within is in this transition space when a service member is getting ready to leave the military service. And a large part of that conversation is about financially what's going to happen and how gainful and meaningful employment is a very big part of that conversation. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And I would love to know from you, what do you see as the biggest hurdle that service members experience trying to get a job after service?
Yes. Well, first, let me address when you're talking about meaningful employment, because that's us. That's ACP. Our main focus, and we're the one organization out there that focuses solely on combating underemployment for both veterans and spouses. We do it one veteran or one spouse at a time, combating underemployment. So it's all about meaningful employment, meaning that your skills, your education, your background are not only at the right level, but the right culture and also really the right career. It all starts with that, the right career fit. So I would say the biggest hurdle is for service members are undecided. Those that come to our program, 86% aren't sure what they want to do for their next career. And I promise you, my service member is that way. He just wrapped up 30 years. Before the military, he worked at White Castle. No clue where his 30 years of service would fit into the civilian sector. So they just don't know, right? They don't know where their skills will fit, what a day in the life of different positions look like, and what really they want to do for identifying their purpose post-service. I think that's absolutely the biggest hurdle that I see.
Yeah. And you mentioned a few things there, right? That purpose, which is so important, leading to, right, meaningful employment, right? Not underemployment, but gainfully and fully employed. So how can a mentorship kind of combat these issues that you see?
Well, my mentor really did this for me and so many others. It's, first of all, we don't know what we don't know. And a mentor is able to identify skills within you that you may not have even thought about, have even considered, and where those skills would be a best fit in the civilian sector. So it's having somebody to look within you to learn more about your background, to see where your skills will fit. Also, helping to narrow the scope. So my mentor, she did this. We, generally in career space, we call it career exploration. She didn't. We called it window shopping. It was comparing different jobs, eliminating what I wasn't a good fit for. I'll tell you, we had a veteran who was retiring, E7. He was for the Air Force. He worked with satellites. And he came to us and he said, I'm going to be moving from a pretty rural area, not close, so I need something remote. And that was his primary focus, wanted to work remotely. So we actually found your love language, the financial services industry, mentor. But he was like, I don't know. I don't want to do sales. We said, look, have a call because they're hiring remotely and just talk, right? Well, the mentor was able to identify, well, if you've been working with satellites, you have all this background in risk. You understand risk mitigation. You just need this certification. Guess what? Because that mentor recognized that, he got that certification and landed a remote six-figure position. He wasn't even looking in the financial services. As a matter of fact, it was for a competitor of the mentor is where he landed. Yeah.
That's great. That's amazing. And I think that hits on, you said somewhere of 80%, higher than 80%. 86% are coming in that indecisive space, right? Or in this, I need a guidance. And it sounds like that's the importance of the mentorship program, and the importance of how ACP runs your mentorship program. And so I think that's where, right, you're now meeting these service members where they are, and they're able to find what's next for them, what's purposeful, what's meaningful, and then what do I need to do to get to that next step, which is a really important kind of puzzle piece to help someone put together. And having a mentor to do that is amazing.
And I think it's so important to highlight that they may hear from, whether we call it barracks lawyers, there's all these terms out there. They may hear from those prior to transitioning that they would be a good fit for this particular position. There's a lot of buzzwords out there, but until you're actually learning from somebody in that career path, what a day in the life looks like, would you be a good fit? That's where the mentors really shine, because they can figure out quickly, actually, that career path is not all what I thought it was going to be. And maybe I should keep looking and look other areas.
Yeah. You've said it so eloquently. That's exactly it. And I think that it takes time, right? And so the ACP mentorship, since we're talking about, what does that time look like that they're with a mentor to be able to do this career exploration?
Yes. So we have a year-long journey together. We request 1 hour a month, and it's one-to-one. So it's one mentor to one veteran, or one mentor to one spouse for a year. And it is somebody to walk that journey with you, the ups and downs, to be that sounding board as you're transitioning. I started my service member about a year out from terminal. So if you're within that window, then now's the time. And even if you are post-service, and you're still wanting to pivot, or maybe you are currently underemployed and you're looking to how to level up, our mentors can help with that. But I recommend, even if you get a position month 2 of working with your mentor, which actually my current protege did, we're not done working. The work is not done, right? Then it is like integrating, then it's performance reviews, then it's working on raises, like how to crush your first 90 days. There's so many things to work through. Once you land the position, it's not just landing the position.
Yeah, that's really important. And I want to kind of shift focus just a little bit, because we are both military spouses, and we have both been right in the workforce and have been navigating this. And so I want to make sure that we're not leaving the military spouse out, and that there's a really large conversation. We know the huge, right? They're the most under and unemployed demographic of our country. We know this. But what do you see as the biggest hurdle for the military spouse, and that what they experience when it comes to their gainful and meaningful employment?
Well, Sarah, you and I know that a lot of folks are going to attribute to the constant moves and holding down the fort, if you will, while the service member is deployed. But I'm going to go out a little bit out here, because I'm going to speak to what I see in our program is actually confidence. Not having and I was there. I don't know if you were, but I was 100% there before my mentor. As a spouse, your goals and aspirations are on the back burner. You're behind the mission, you're behind the service member, you're behind the kids. And so you have to make everything happen. And for somebody that is actually assigned to you to be your own personal hype man, to put your goals and your aspirations up front and center, there's just nothing like it, right? It's just so empowering to have that confidence boost. So when a spouse comes to our program, 29% report that they're confident in their chosen career path. 29%. After that year of working with the mentor, it jumps to 86%.
Wow. That's amazing. That's
and it's really
unbelievable.
somebody giving them permission to focus, and then also seeing the value that they have to bring to a company. They don't see it within themselves. Again, they're pouring out to everybody else. They're doing the kids, they're doing the moves, they're doing this. When somebody's actually pouring into them and highlighting the skills that they have, then that's where that really boosts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and numbers don't lie, right? You're going from 20 something percent to 80 something percent of feeling that confidence. And I think, right. I mean, right. I'm completely biased, but I also like to say I'm completely right that military spouses are the most resilient, right? So they're the most resilient by, right, how they live their life and their lifestyle and moving and all of those things, right? Taking care of the home front and all those things. And so the second you pour into that spouse and you say, now I'm giving you the opportunity to take a lead, just a little bit of it, they're going to go 110%. Right into it. And so it sounds like that's where the mentorship process for a military spouse, having a year-long hype person say, let's figure this out. Let's see where your attributes can be and where you're excelling at, can prove leaps and bounds. And when we look at the transition space, I think in particular, and we look at sometimes, right, the financial stressors that come with leaving the military, having somebody who is your partner who is employed, right, having a military spouse who is employed can help alleviate a little bit of that. So that the service member can maybe do some focusing on what's their new purpose when they've been living 30 years maybe as a certain individual, and what are they going to do now? So I think it really sets a family unit up for success, not only while in service, but for that transition outside of service. And I think that that's a really important connector.
1,000%. And I will tell you, I was so very blessed to have an opportunity to have a position where my service member didn't have to take the first thing that fell in his lap, right? And oftentimes that's where that lack of retention, if you will, comes from veterans post-service, is because they may be settling because it's fear, right? Those are fear-based decisions. They need to feed the family. They have to put food on the table. So the first opportunity that comes up, they're going to accept it out of those fear. But if your spouse has them in employment, that gives them a little bit of grace to really find that right fit, so that and then of course with the help of their mentor, it's finding the right fit, and then they can stay. Actually, our retention for those that come through our program on the veteran side of the house is more than 80%. And it always has been. We've been doing this study now for 8 times. We do it every other year. So in 16 years, it's never been south of 80%. It's been 80, 82, 85%. When we check in a year later, they're still with that same company because the mentors help them to make sure they were at the right level.
Right. It's a win-win all around, I think. This is a situation where everybody is kind of winning. And so a portion of that too is the mentor themselves. So we actually had a question come in about what's the importance of becoming a mentor, right? For people who say, I might be in a position that I think I could maybe do this. Could you talk a little bit about the importance of also that giving back?
So there are many Forbes articles out there about this, actually. I don't have the click to share with you right now, but I can tell you can look it up, that there are 6 times more likely to receive a promotion when they're mentors. They get their own professional development out. And actually, 2/3 of our mentors are not military connected. So this is their way to give back. This is, their gratitude in action. And they learn so much from both spouses and veterans about the military lifestyle that they never knew, which, guess what? Works phenomenal for employers, because they can go back and educate their HR. They can go back and educate the TA on the skill sets they're seeing for the veterans that they're mentoring.
It's a real full circle, I think, for not only the service member and the spouse, but also for the mentor and the company that the mentor is working with. That there is kind of this very symbiotic relationship where all of a sudden, right, businesses can say, well, we've found kind of a new pool of people that fit exactly what we're trying to do, and they have all this expertise. Let's pull them in. And so I think, being a mentor, I have to say, I myself am an ACP, I'm a military spouse and an ACP mentor. And I've had 2 other military spouses over the course of 2 years to be able to mentor. And it is it is very rewarding in that respect. And on a not just professional note, but on a personal note, I will say that ACP does an absolutely amazing job setting you up for success. So not only the mentee, but the mentor as well, that everybody's successful at the end of the year. And that's nice to see. So.
Yeah, I think it's not only, it's the customization that goes into our process of pairing the right mentor with the right veteran or spouse, but also on the mentor side of the house, we have onboarding, we have orientation, we have a handbook. We actually even have monthly calls called Mentor Coffee and Conversations where they can bounce ideas off of each other. I really love to be flies on the walls in those conversations where they're, problem solving something that they're working on their protege with. And then for the veteran or spouse side of the house, we have potential conversation starters, checklists to consider. So if you're really not sure, like I've never had a mentor, I will tell you, guilty. I would postpone my conversations with my mentor because she was phenomenal and I was afraid I would be wasting her time. And so what for us, actually, you not only have the ACP person that's checking in on you every month and kind of facilitating and navigating the conversations, but also you have a handbook and some tools to get you started. So just know it doesn't have to be intimidating. We're there to support every step of the way. If you have any questions, we've been doing it for 16 years, so there's a chance we've seen it. Don't hesitate to reach out and just know that you're worthy of those calls. You don't have to delay them. And you have support every step of the way.
And so what is the process, right, for getting to get a mentor? If somebody is listening and they're like, you know what, I want to do this, where can they go? What can they do?
So our website is acp-usa.org. Again, that's acp-usa.org. There is an apply now button, and you can select, whether you're a veteran or a military spouse. For a military spouse, it's going to be anybody that's active duty, a Gold Star surviving spouse, or a spouse of a disabled post 9/11 veteran. For a service member, if you've served at least 180 days post 9/11, you could have gotten out 20 plus years ago. We can still help. Again, you may be stagnant and you need a promotion, or maybe you're looking to pivot. We can assist. Our mentors are phenomenal. Or maybe, I tell you what, maybe you're looking to launch a business because we have ACP vendors to help you with launching or growing a small business. So regardless of what you're trying to do, where you are in your journey, it does not matter your rank, it doesn't matter your education, or if you're a spouse returning after 20 years of gap. Doesn't matter. We can help.
We can help. I love that. We're going to make sure too that we'll drop into the comment sections all of these links to make it really easy to be able to find whether you're a spouse or you're a veteran or you're a veteran entrepreneur. All of the things that are there. I want to thank you, Leslie, for your passion and dedication to this first and foremost, and for your time today in explaining to our audience and to the military community about how impactful a mentor can be in your journey through life.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity. I will tell you, it doesn't matter your season of life or where you are, even at the executive levels. We all need mentors because we don't know what we don't know. And it's very helpful to have that unbiased feedback and that safe sounding board to bounce those ideas off of.
Yeah, it really is. Well, thank you again. That's going to wrap up our LinkedIn Live for today. I'm Sarah Roeder, and thank you so much for joining me. Please join again on June 5th at 12 Eastern Time. I'm going to be discussing with Jennifer Pasquale about what does living the life you want look like? And what are those tools and resources? And then, of course, if you would like more information about AAFMAA and building your financial readiness as a member of the military community, please visit our financial resource page. We'll make sure to drop that in the comment section. If you happen to be sitting at your computer, you can take a picture and snap that QR code, whatever's most convenient for you. But thank you all for listening and for joining, and hope you have a great day. Bye now.